Alright, I think we're live. Hello, Zoltan. Gotta get this machine back together. This is from last night. I didn't get around to putting everything back together, been so busy today. So, best I do it now, lest I regret it later. Besides, it'll give a chance for some people to turn up. Hey, Mr. Nash, good evening to you. Still haven't opened up a whole bunch of boxes that arrived in the post. It's just better to leave them packed up and safe. I've used up all my slots in my... yeah. Bad start already. Yeah. Wow. Let's hope this is not a indicator of the rest of the night. What I've done is I've trapped the flex under there. Of course I've done that. Yep. Right, try that again. A 3X Arnold, a laptop, Osis, Solder, Jurgen, Thomas Lammy. I feel like I've seen you before, but I've forgotten. Or maybe I haven't. Maybe you've never been here before. Unfortunately, I don't put a lot of effort into remembering who's here and who's not on their first or second time. So I apologise. And you're probably like, crikey Paul, I've been following you for the last 8 years and you still don't remember who I am. I'm leaving. Can still see the disk and disk management fails. Oh yeah, I've had that, yeah. If you put it into DF... although you probably can't put it into target disk mode. I was going to say, if you can put it into target disk mode, you'll probably find you can read the data off. Okay, screws have been mixed up here a little bit. I don't feel like that's actually even the correct screw. Yay! Hey, phone repair, David. Hey, Thomas. Yeah. Put up with my chitter chatter on Discord and then you come in here to get even more. Shouldn't you be doing like important work things? Coming up with groundbreaking discoveries or something? Writing the next greatest piece of software? It's 1708 that needs a couple of 3215s. Yeah, Tony, with the 1708s these days, they're starting to drop dead with the CPU failures. So it's almost getting to the point now, there's not much point. They'll run for a while and then they'll start doing weird things, like just intermittently powering down. And you think, oh yeah, I've got a bad battery or something, and you replace the battery and it seems like it goes okay for a while. And then it starts misbehaving again. But it turns out it wasn't actually the battery at fault, it was just the CPU starting to do weird stuff. I feel like I got a fat tongue today, so I apologise for that. Might have been because of all the chocolate I just ate. A fat, wet, dry tongue. It's a little hard to describe. But the tongue itself feels fat and dry, but at the same time you're fighting to stop yourself spittling everywhere. glorious description. You all were just hanging on my words for that one. Ah, that's where that screw is. Yeah, we'll just get these boring rebuilding bits done, and that way I can reclaim my screw containers before Pedro comes sniffing for them. Hey, Monsieur. Nope. T6. What have I done with T8? Oh, there it is. I should have a new release of Flexboard View out next day or so. Once again, as usual, I found a couple of bugs shortly after I did the previous release, which I did because I found bugs after the release before that. It's a bit of a nightmare. It seems like you never really spot the annoying bugs until after you've made it public, when everybody starts downloading it. And then you're like, no. Fortunately, at least now the new versions, you can just hit the update button and it'll be good. That reminds me, I need to work on the update system that it's using, because I've noticed it doesn't always work out for some reason. I'm not quite rightly sure. It's like it times out, but the SSL connection system that's in there, it's got a 5-minute timeout on it, so I don't know why it's doing the timeout. I have to find out what's going on. And that would be fine, except for the fact that I even have a retry facility, and it doesn't seem to be honouring that either. So clearly I've got something that I've overlooked. Tad annoying. This is what happens when you add more features to software. They're not even central features. They're not actually pertaining to board views. It's rather features for the software. Oh, the other thing I had to fix is that I found that in Linux, the board view file filtering, as in when you go open a file, it wasn't case insensitive, so it was only picking up lowercase files. And that's fine. That was another thing comparatively easy to fix, but it's just one of those things you're like, another thing I didn't check for, because under Windows and macOS they're already case insensitive. Clock mismatch? No, it works 50% of the time. It works straight away, and then other times it does not. And then you try again and it's good. So it's got me beat. And that's between, when I test it here, it'll occasionally do it, and my clocks are synchronized. And I don't have any trouble with I think what the problem is, it's something to do with the response from the server, because when I put the request in to download the new version, it has to actually build the new binary on demand. So, but then that's where this whole 5-minute thing should be fine. So I don't know. I'll work it out, but it's just one of those things. What's going on here? What the... It's a bad port or something? What's going on? This is perfectly fine. Okay, that's fine. It must be a bad port there. What's even more interesting is it's not even picking up on the other. You picked up the wrong thing, buddy. Okay. Hey, Riston, UK. Okay, so that's charging fine. Then I plug into this one that's not. Boo! Oh, that sucks. Oh, seriously? Both of them? They're bad ports? That was working like last night. Let's see. I mean, the ports aren't ideal, but they're not terrible either. I'm going to have to open that up again. Maybe I didn't clip in the... yeah, maybe I just didn't clip it in properly. Hey, Brad. You keep coming around here and watching these streams. You're never going to get work done yourself. And then you're going to send me a cease and desist or something. Stop streaming. You're interrupting my workflow. The cable... okay, I didn't show the flip, but... come on. God damn. Jammed it in good and proper there. It's so annoying when this sort of thing happens. This is why I like to make sure they are packed up and ready to go well before the customer's expecting them. Oh, you're a morning person. Alright, that's... what is going on with you? Got a cap on the side drift there. It's been knocked, but that shouldn't do it either. See that cap there? It's been slightly dislodged, but that should not affect it. What is going on with my microscope? I'm just going to try another port and see what happens. Yeah, damn right I'm spoiling you guys. Okay, fresh port. $20 volts. Sorry, dude. Pfft, 20 volts. Oh great, now it's good. Of course. Let's flip it over and see if we still get 20. 20. Oh, here we go. Bottom, no, what? Okay, I admit I didn't check that bottom one with the previous 0.2. That's just weird. Okay, so we want to check that bottom port. Did I check that bottom port before? I thought I did. Yeah. God damn it. What a waste of my time. God damn it. I don't even know if I've got stock. Yeah, I don't even have any stock left of that model. No, I can't use the one that I've been doing there, using there. Maybe I can find one from one of my other chassis. It's a major pain in my backside. Yeah, that's just going to frustrate me. After putting it all back together. Boo hiss. Hey Graham. Yeah, that's a big fat boo hiss. Let's try the next one that I've got to put back together, and then we can actually get to repairs. Okay, this is another 2141, although the other one was a 1990. You streaming tonight, Graham? Doing your live chat with Caradog? I've missed your last few, or at least I haven't been able to stick around for very long. Hey Martin J, Civilu. Ah, Draco's here. Hey Draco. I'm cussing and swearing right now, as you just noticed. It's probably Graham's fault. He showed up, everything went to crap, so yeah, seems about right to me. I believe that's the way science is done these days. You just find someone to blame for the data not going the way you want. You're away this I've taken afternoon off. Gee whiz. What do you think, this is a holiday or something? Oh well. These are backwards. Yeah, these are backwards. This one here, it has you can't really see it here, but it has a hole in it. And that's because it belongs down here on the right hand side. This one does not have a hole in it, and it belongs on the left hand side. And you need the hole in this one because that is how the retainer plate is held on, which also explains why there's a screw missing from this assembly, because they probably tried to put it back together and said, no, we can't we can't make this second screw fit, so it must be not the right screw. But the truth was they had mixed it up before, and so it caused a knock-on effect, namely idiots. And I've also got another missing screw there. Fantastic. I'll make sure I red mark them so that I can't be blamed. Later on someone says, hey, there were screws missing out of this, it must be your fault. So, nope. Someone got to it before me. I'll see if I've got spares and I might be able to populate them, but I'll do that at the end. I don't like to give away my spare sets if I can avoid it. Particularly for scenarios like this where someone's just been careless with their disassembly. Come on, man. You can't build up your box of screws, Mal, unless you steal some screws. But I guess that's what you're saying. It's the other tech stole the screws. Alright, Paul is borderline going to throw a hissy fit soon. What I'm running into here is that they've chewed out the heads of the T4 screws down here, which means that when I try to get to lock in on the tip, it's like, nah, I don't think I'm going to lock in. I'm just going to just pivot everywhere and fall out when you try to line me up. And the other thing that's been frustrating me is I still have not found my bag of zip bags, my little druggy bags. And that annoys me immensely because I do like them to put the dead parts into. And so I feel like it's one of those small things that are blocking my flow. People say, well, you should probably have more fiber. So what I'm going to have to do is go grab a container that has very old jobs in it and just start stripping them out. Because I figure, after a year or two, hell, even 6 months, I should be able to recycle those bags. Okay, pretty much there now. What? I'm ignoring you. Yep, I'm ignoring you. Okay. Where did this one come from? Oh, interesting. Okay. The business that sent this to me, I don't think they're the ones that are responsible for those missing screws. And this is going to be a data recovery job, so I'm not going to worry about them. Wrong driver, idiot. And why the hell won't Wearer produce a pentalobe for MacBooks? So many other different screw, types and drives that they support, but for some reason they won't do the pentalobe. And believe me, I've asked them. They'll do the small one. I think they'll do the one for the iPhone. Yeah, they'll definitely do the iPhone one, but they won't do the one for the MacBook, or at least they haven't to date that I know of. Happy to be wrong on that. Hopefully they have actually changed their mind. Okay, this should be good still. Graham, you're talking about the 1990? The ports are okay on that, but that's not a data recovery. The 99. This one is, and it's working fine. Or at least it was. What? Oh, much better. Thank goodness for that. And I'm a little bit excited for Tuesday, Wednesday to come around because I'll get my new higher wattage Apple power brick and cables. Kind of crazy how much you got to pay for, the 240 watt rated stuff. Okay, this is good. Yep. No troubles with this one. Green market. Stick it in the outbound. I'm just going to go get that container full of jobs, at least if I can find it. Because I need them. I need some baggies, man. You watch, I'll find all the other baggies that I've been looking for. That'll be funny if that happens. I hope it happens. Nope, it didn't happen. Crap. Yeah, sometimes when you're not trying to find something, that is when you find it. Okay. Hey, Harold. Alright, so these are from the start of the year. These are kind of like, I don't know. $1,500, $1,400, $1,200. These are sort of like the last 1,000 jobs or so. Oh yeah, that is old. CLX. God damn. Those people screwed me something good. I don't even know why they did it, but they did. And I need a container to dump all this stuff. Or maybe a big zip bag. Yeah, big zip bag. Okay, so we'll leave these for the moment. I'm just going to start emptying these out. Anything sort of like early thousands or whatever. And these are the wrong size bags too. So these are the ones that I want. 1,800. Yeah, okay. We'll live with this. Like I said, these are old enough now. Yeah, I was pretty hurt about one of these companies out there where they just went cold on me. I knew it when it happened because they retracted 2 jobs from me. And I was like, why did you guys just, retract 2 jobs? And you get a feel for it. And yeah, sure enough, I never saw those jobs again, never heard from them again. Other than, at least they did pay up their account. So they finished paying for everything that I had done. But what hurt was the fact that there'd been plenty of times where I was stupid enough to sort of go 50-50 with them on a job fault. Like, say I repair a board and then the customer, say it's for liquid damage or something like that, and the customer changes their mind, said, you know what, I actually don't want data or anything like that. And then the business capitulates with the customer and then comes to me and says, look, the customer changed their mind, they don't want the data, we don't want the job anymore, we don't want to pay. And you're like, well, no, the work's done, you've got to pay. But then they go, look, we send you so much work and you just do something, cut the deal or whatever. Or if a machine gets lost, like if I post it back to them and the delivery people there, don't deliver it properly. Something happens, and they go, well, you sent it to us. Why, you should go halves in that loss. It's like, I sent it with the service that you requested against my advice to not use that service. So yeah, that really, I guess that sort of falls back on me. Me being a little wishy-washy, weak-ass person. Yeah, there they are again, CLX. Is there a non-chaos way to store hundreds of parts? Well, I'm sure there is. But like I said, these are just finished jobs. So all these parts are dead. Or at least were extracted from a job. And then I just keep them on hand for covering my backside. If someone comes to me and there they are again. Someone comes to me and says, hey, we don't believe you did this. Then I've got my video recordings and I've got my little baggies of parts. The other thing that irritated me is that you think you've got a business relationship with these people and you try to keep your prices fairly stable so they've got a predictable quotation point to work from and again. And you try to go out of your way to understand that this is a give and take. You help them where you can. It doesn't really matter. There's no point because they're just going to screw you over anyway. At the end of the day, it's the dollar that counts, and they'll just dump you and throw you under a bus the moment they need to. So it is a big part of why I now don't give discounts for business to business. I don't do anything special. It's like, hey, as far as I'm concerned from this point, you're just like pretty much any other customer. Unless you really, really, really prove yourself. But for the most part now, it's just like, you're nothing special. You don't bring anything to the table special for me. You definitely don't make my job easier. Because a lot of the time when it comes to B2B, you end up doing more paperwork for them. Like you end up filling out the job sheets and stuff like that, like the submission job sheets, because they don't do it. They're just like, oh yeah, Paul do it. Stuff like that. And so you go, okay, you know what, I get it. It's convenience for them to not fill it out, and it means they can send it to me quicker. I'm fine with that. But the notion that they're doing you a favor by like gathering customers up for you or whatever, don't go for that. It's not true. Because chances are those customers will probably actually find you eventually. And you probably offer them a better deal. That's the other thing. When these B2B places squawk about how, oh, it's not affordable, we can't make $1 on that. It's like you're basically you're just a front gathering up the customer and sending the, you don't actually, you deal with the customer, I'll give you that. And you've done the pre-diagnosis, although sometimes they do not. So yeah, there's a part there. But I like to think I sort of give back in the way of being more tolerant of some things, and if there's like 5 or 6 jobs in the box and 2 of them are duds, then I don't bother with like the bench fee or anything like that. Just small things. Just try to like do this sort of background give and take. But I got to stop doing that because honestly, it's not recognised. It's not reciprocated. You just get thrown under the bus. Hey David, hey QBHS, I'm Mark. Paperwork shop starts sending my details to customers. Oh, that is the other thing. Yes, good thing you brought that up there, Brad. Yes, I have had stores and they've got a customer that is getting a bit hot under the collar, and they give them my details, and it's like, I cannot talk to you. I cannot talk to you as a customer because you are not my customer. The business is my customer. And they're like, but it's my machine you've got there. Why can't you just... And then, of course, the customers naturally will go, well, how much did you charge them for that? And I'm like, I am not going to give you that information because I know that will cause an absolute shitstorm. Particularly when they find out that I charge the store $300 and the store charges them $1,500 for a data recovery or something like that. That is one surefire way of losing your B2B, if you've got a reasonable one, is if you give out the cost, it's not going to be good. Don't ever do that. Even if, just don't do that. That's between you and the business, not you and the customer. So you need to respect, even if the business is not respecting you for something, it doesn't mean you should drop to that level as well. So maintain your integrity. Oh yeah, they'll throw you under the bus. Because from their perspective, they can just go find someone cheaper on eBay, or there's plenty of MacBook repair people around, even in Australia here, heaps of them in fact. So they're not hurting for choice from their perspective. And we see, I don't know how it is over there, but here I only do B2B. They basically double the amount I charge and work for them. Yep. And I mean, that's fine. I don't have a problem at all with them charging a heap more. I know there's some of the businesses that I've done work on, they will charge 10 times what I have. I just don't care. I charge what I want to charge that I feel comfortable with. What you get out of the customer, that's up to you. But where it goes all wrong is when they, and it's often with these places that charge way over the top. When things go wrong, they come at you, hand out like, can we have some money back? It's like, get fucked. It's really what I should just tell them. GTFO. And then discounts. Oh God. I'll give people a discount if I can get a discount at the supermarket for the food that I've got to buy, or the petrol I've got to buy, or the electricity I've got to, If I'm getting discounts from there, sure, okay. If you can get me a discount from the tax department or the banks. But no. Instead, most of the time, the people who can least afford to give you a discount are the people that you're asking for a discount. Hey, Samuel Defari. I mean, I'm quite happy to talk to, like when I have direct customer jobs, which fortunately now are becoming a bigger portion, I've got no problem with it. I do make sure that they don't try and call me on the verbal line, people trying to call me on the mobile phone. Oh, I just want to chat for 5 seconds about, it won't be too long. So no, and no. So no phone calls. Text, please. The main reason is, from a legal standpoint, it's very useful to have text. Especially for me, because of my hearing loss. If I don't have text, then I'm up the creek. So they'll be like, I said this, and I'll be like, oh, maybe you did and I misheard. So having everything in email, text is an absolute godsend. And you got a timeline, you can dispute the interpretation of what was written, but at least you've got that as your foundation of like, hey, this is what was written. They always want to speak to a live person, and they just waffle on, telling you the fault 20 times over, and you're like, yeah, I get it, okay, send it in. The sun was shining a little brighter that day, and I had a bottle of water across the room, and I saw that the bottle of water was reflecting light onto the keys, and I was wondering if maybe that was what caused it. And yeah, I get it. They want to try and solve it with you, but at the same time, yeah, it's sort of a big waste of time. You also get some people who will send in a 20-page essay on what is wrong with their machine or what they've diagnosed, and it's fantastic that they've put all their effort into it, but it's actually counterproductive. Much better if they just sort of give you the cliff notes and let you take it from there. Pay $150 a month to pay more than retail. What's this for? Oh yeah, discounts. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, that's some baggy bits. Obviously I'll never know who owns what there, but I'm hoping that might be enough baggies for me to get through until I get some more. Now I need a baggie to put my baggies in. This bag of parts, I'll hand back random parts to people. There was a bit of a trend for a while with repair mechanics, so car mechanics that is. People were losing a lot of trust in mechanics, and at the time it was justifiable. And so what they'd do is they'd start putting supposedly the parts that they removed from your vehicle into your trunk, into your boot, whatever you want to call it, so that then you could go, oh yeah, that matches up with what you've charged me for, and then reinstate a little bit of trust. But of course it's easy enough to fake that if you wanted to. You just pick some random parts in the shed. I should say, for all my ranting here, I do have some very good B2B people, but I've also been dreadfully burnt by quite a few others too. And I get at the end of the day, it's all about they are their own priority just as much as I am my own priority. And you got to do what you think is best for the business, and if that means dropping your current service provider, like repairer, that's fine. But there are ways to do that which leave you with an option in the future if you ever got to cross that bridge and talk to the person again. Oh yeah, sell that on eBay for $1. Yeah, yeah, Graham pretty much got it. Yeah, it doesn't turn on. Got it. Yep. Sorry, Graham, I was a little slow on that one. And like I say, it's not that you don't trust the person or anything like that. It's just that you know from experience that all the rest of that information is generally going to be useless. And for the one or two times where the information they could have given you could have been useful, it's just still not really worth it. Alright. In the bag, so to speak. Find our next job now. Let's try and pick and choose here. Pikachu. What are you? I just realised I can barely see what I'm looking at here. A1990. We've got another 1990. I guess we'll attack that. Get these out of the way. I know people are like, why? You keep doing the same machines. It's like, yeah, because I'm trying to cut through my queue and this is a much easier way for me to do it. So my dark website. First you've got to turn off all the lights, disconnect your power, and cut the internet line. And then you'll find it. And if you can't, then can you really call yourself a technician? I don't know. Okay. No screws. Okay, cool. No screws. We can live with this. Hello, Lala Ramos. Nice one, Graham. Got yourself a temper band there. Good job. Let's see, I had some pointed questions that I asked depending on the failure mode. All the other info is a waste of time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're experienced enough that most of the time you can work out what you're dealing with, particularly if it's like 2141s, A1990s, a lot of it you just sort of, and just even by the behaviors. Okay, that wasn't connected, that's fine. This is being out. Let's see what we're dealing with. No, take it out. Let's measure the resistance though. What do we got? That one's solid. PP bus? Yeah, look at that PP bus. 65 ohms. That's not looking healthy. That's nasty. That is a nasty kind of fault. 65 ohms is a real pain. Basically, anything over 10 ohms is starting to give you grief when it comes to a short on the board. Predominantly because you're not going to be able to find that too easily even with an infrared camera. If you want to use an infrared camera, you need a certain amount of heat. And if you don't have a certain amount of heat, it's very difficult to find it in amongst all the noise. Even if you're going for a cold board under a blacked out assembly viewport, it's still going to be difficult. We've got stickers off, we've got brush marks here. Right, this is being effed with. So let's see what degree of effery we're dealing with here. So I don't even have a... goddamn. No, you see this to me, I start seeing this and all I can think of is no fix. Meanwhile, a lot of people out there be going, it's fixable, you can fix it, just, don't be such a cop-out, don't give up so easily. And it's not me giving up. What is going on with my magnetic system tonight? Yeah, it's not me giving up so much as just simply going, I am fairly sure that this will consume more time and resources than what I am able to charge for it. So what I don't like is the fact that there's brush marks over that, which means there's been corrosion around here. Intriguingly, that cap is not corroded, but I'm going to guess that's been replaced based on the amount of the fact that that's missing and there's bits of flux everywhere. So yeah, as I said plenty of times before, there's a difference between solving interesting technical issues and running a business. In fact, in some ways they're kind of like antithesis of each other. And 65 ohms is, like I said, it's a really disgusting value. Or 60 ohms. I wouldn't even know what to look at. It's such a generic value. I mean, I know we were saying before the NANDs, but I don't think the NANDs are at fault in this one, because what have we got? We've only got one bank. Yeah, we've only got the one bank of NANDs on here, and it's reading 600 plus. Yeah, 580, there's nothing really wrong with that. $64. Brad, I can do that, but the trouble is, these boards with all their internal layers and things like that, it makes tracking down that fault quite tricky. And particularly when it's on PP bus, because that's sort of like, or that's, your main battery input or main power input. So you're going to have a very hard time localizing that. And so what gives me the heebie-jeebies here is we've got all this wash off. So if I had to guess, I'd say maybe something under here. Realistically, perhaps the only thing that would drive me to really get into this is if it was for data recovery. I'll check to see if the ports read okay. I mean, these have got like 12 layers in them or something. 8 to 12, I can't remember. They got a lot of layers in them. I don't have a 6.5 digit meter, but I do have a low ohms meter that would measure down to 0.1 micro ohms. Oh, not micro ohms, milliohms. Yeah, so 100 micro ohm resolution. Then you run into troubles with like, oh, my tip got slightly dirty then, so now it's all the numbers are wrong. Yeah, I think it's about 12 layers. 8 to 12 layers I think they have. So I'm doing a cheat here. What is this? A1990. Left. I'm just cheating to see if anything comes screaming up. No, that's all good. We've got, 33 yet again. Always 33, 40 and 42 on the right port. Okay, let's pull up our board view and schematics. First I better git pull, make sure I get the very latest version of my software. Yeah, Cleaver can be useful as a general tool. Maybe a little hard to justify the pricing, I think, but this was given to me, so I don't really actually have an idea of how much it really does cost. Okay. It's a 1041 board. And we are looking over here. What are we after? 33, 40, 42. So USB bottom, top. There's some missing information there. Top P and top N. Oh, okay, so both? What are they? They've gone higher, they're open circuit. Okay, this makes me think that maybe... and bottom P. Alright, so someone's plugged something into this that has probably blown the port, and then they've flipped it and blown the other side. It is useful. It's one of those sort of tools, though, that yeah, because it's such a specific use, I find it as sort of like a from a distance kind of diagnostic tool, where it gives you an idea. Okay, we've got something wrong with the port there. You could also use the mechanic tool, like this one here. This basically does the same job in a different kind of way. So it's certainly probably a lot cheaper, and it's a little bit more universal. It'll just be interesting to see if we can get an indication of the fact that the pins are not mirror matching. Hey, Mr. Paul Howell, welcome to you. The non-compliant charger, what is going on here? Why are you getting me grief today, Mr. Magnet? It's like I've got another electrical thingy-majig running around here. Okay, so you can see that there is a... where is there? Yeah, we've got open line. This is all wrong. This should be like 0.6, 0.6, and they're mirrored. This one here is mirrored across. You got 77, 76, that's fine. And then you got the 22. Okay, this one here is out as well. So yeah, there's been a bit of a damage struck onto this machine. Okay, Brad, take care. Always good to have you here and lending a pessimistic ear. Okay, so 33. Where are you going to? Okay, so you're going to UB300, so it's primary. So it's this one here. Just looking to see if I can see anything that's telling me a story. Now, because they've gone open circuit rather than short circuit, it's very unlikely that it's the TVS diodes. If it was the TVSs, they would take it to short circuit. So if we spend 10 minutes on this, I would say we take that chip off, replace it, and see what happens. That's going to be my commitment. If that doesn't work, or if that doesn't give us a pretty good chance of it working, then I say we just say goodnight to it. What doesn't help is if I think they're SanDisk units. Oh no, these ones aren't SanDisk. Yeah. The black SanDisk SSD NAND chips, they are just terrible. You look at them wrong and they die. They're like, you looked at me funny, I'm out of here, I'm dead. It happens all too often. Put a bit of Tim Herman's snot under there. At least the upside of this one is that these are not underfilled, so it does tend to make life a little bit easier. You get boards like the A1989, 820, 00850s and things like that, and they have underfilled versions. And that also wouldn't be so bad, except they also have a matching underfill on the other side of the board, almost in the same place. So you fix up one, and you end up having to fix two. Doesn't always happen. Yeah, if you get it just right, or a bit of luck on your side, then you can end up only having to take one off. But if you do approach those machines, then it's often a good idea to prepare yourself for the very strong likelihood that you're going to have to do both sides. Hey Serge, welcome. Bit more Tim Snot. Tim's not going to approve of that, me calling it Tim Snot. Really, this stuff, it's like when you've got allergies. Maybe a little more viscous than allergies. It's that clear, sort of generally smooth running stuff. Hey creature, welcome. I do very much still prefer the hot air wicking method rather than running it with a soldering iron. It just feels like, for me at least, I've got less chance of ripping up a pad this way. I know for other people that they find it a bit uncomfortable to do it this way, particularly if you start getting your fingers burnt. Burning fingers are a fair and reasonable reason to drop what you're doing. Alright, see if I've got a 3215s. It's always a bit of a gamble because these are AliExpress 3215s and you never quite know whether you've got a real 3215 or some piece of crap. At least got the right marking. It's kind of 50-50 with the AliExpress ones. Oh, Graham, you've been practicing. Okay. I didn't see any of that being done. It'd be interesting to see if you try it. But like I said, it comes down to the context of the task. Some people like using it, some don't. Certainly having a good pair of tweezers to help you not burn your fingertips is a good idea. Full speed, please. Okay, I know what's going on with that chip. I'm not sure if it's down. This is where I've got to get used to this new flux. with the MTech flux that I previously would use, I'd know when it's floating and whatever. Okay, that is definitely not reflowed. It's partially reflowed, but it's not fully. Just taken a lot longer than I expected. This is also why people, well, I myself am quite reluctant to take on new products too quickly, even if everybody else is like, hey, this is great, I really like this and it's worked well. When you're dealing with a lot of this stuff, you become quite attuned to the individual behaviors of... Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you just subconsciously are detecting. Okay, that's flow. And when you change that, then you lose that extra subconscious level of control or awareness, and you can end up screwing up a bunch of jobs. So yeah, when people are a little bit reluctant to, say, take on your new piece of equipment or what you think was a great thing, it's not because they're being jerks per se. It's just that they have a lot of investment and skills. What the hell? Oh yeah, is that down? That is one weird looking thing. Yeah, they're down. It did come with lead-free balls, yeah. Cleaver, I just use AliExpress for parts. I don't have any special deals with anything or secret contacts or anything. I'm just whatever I can find on AliExpress. Was the same size as the other 32 CD32 units. Should have been. Yep. They're all generic as far as I know. Okay. Be interesting to see if now we get a different behaviour on the tester. Yeah. That's not really crash hot at all. We have fixed up. There was this one down here that was dead. So we might have some blown filters. We'll try the other port just as a comparison, but yeah, we should be seeing like 60s and 50s in amongst all that. Oh shit, no. Okay. Now I'm curious. Let's see if PV bus has changed. It could have been from the flux creature. Still 63. That's only part of the problem. I'm starting to think now what's happened here is something shot through that CD3215 and took out a hell of a lot of other things. 195. It's a wrong polarity. That's better. Well, I'm going to plug a USB-C in. Just see if it actually does anything at all. Like whether we even negotiate. Okay, we've got 5 volt negotiation. We're stuck on 20 milliamps. Stuck on 20. This is likely being a compound fault. So we had the blown CD3215 and then we had whatever damage. 20 volts. Okay, so what we've got now is probably internal. My first thought after this would be look at the RTC circuit or the 3v3, which is kind of like a you gotta have it before anything else comes up. All the USB sides are matching now, so that's more what I care about. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, R6900. Okay, there. Do I have diode mode on? I do, yep. Hey, Rilla. Cassandra. Wait, what? C6900. Hey, babe. Yeah, sure.
One of those awful.
Mm-hmm. What you mucking?
The marinade. For the
Oh
chicken
yeah, for the chickens. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh yeah, okay. I was going to throw in my bin, but it's okay. Mr. Howe, what are you doing sending me your hard-earned good money to a hack MacBook repairer like myself? Thank you very much, Paul Howe, once again sending through his very hard-earned money, which he probably should be keeping for himself, $100. Thank you very much. Which definitely goes towards looking after little rat bags that we've got around here called the cats. Lots of them. But I definitely always do appreciate it. But I just like to make sure that people make sure they put themselves first. So it's important. Oh, they've done this differently. They're using the TPS on this one. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Whoops. Where are you, TPS? There you are, you dirty little rat. I think that's you. Yep, that's you. Hey, 10-minute. Yeah, I know, Paul. I know what you're saying. And like I said, I do very much appreciate it. I just don't ever feel obligated, that's for sure. I'm more than happy to have you around. Okay, we're getting somewhere here. Look at that. That number looks familiar. That's probably because it is PP bus. Yeah, it's PPVN. And that one's also 63. We don't have any burn marks on here. Why do I do this to myself? Why? Okay, switch over to voltage mode. I'm going to put power into it and see what we're reading at the inappropriate places. 0.6 volts. Nah, that's not very good. That should be 3.3 as far as I can tell. Or even higher, in fact. Well, no, that's input. Alright, let's bring out the thermal camera, see if we can see anything. I mean, you're not going to see a lot at 20 milliamps like that. But, hey, Saturday night, we might get lucky. Famous last words whenever I'd go out night clubbing. And of course I never did, which is probably a very, very good thing, thank goodness. Sometimes misfortune in youth is actually a blessing in disguise. Okay, so we've already got the power running through it. Does that look like a little bit of a hotspot there? No, that's just reflections. We might have to turn off the lights. It's very easy to occasionally think, hey, I found it, when you really haven't. You've just simply got a bit of shiny metal or something highlighting, especially when the alignment's a little bit off. Let's just adjust that. There we go. Yeah, nothing's showing up. Alright, let's go into darkness. And now it's decided that it's going to go flat. Of course it does. Honestly, you just need to bolt a 4 amp hour battery onto this thing. Oh, come on, you can reach. Just waiting for the camera to reboot. And all that glow that you can see underneath, that is from the hot air rework that we did. Ach, yeah. Okay. That's okay, PR. We're not going anywhere fancy here yet. Why did you do that, camera? Why? Let's try that again. Yeah, we might have to get the blanket out. Okay, that looks kind of promising. No, it's a frickin'... It's a crystal. It kind of looks strong enough in that instance. Okay, time to get the blanket. Oh, thank you very much for that, Paul. I do appreciate those words. Nothing really showing up there. Now we've just got the ferocious heat of... I said 20 milliamps at 5 volts. What is that? 100 milliwatts, if you're lucky. It's not giving us a lot. Give it 20. I can't give it 20. It just freeze up on me again. God damn. Honestly, whoever programmed this is not a very good programmer. In this particular case, what makes it a little bit harder is that there's no pulsing either. So often when if you can get a board and it's got a pulsing fault, so it goes, 20 milliamps, nothing, 20 milliamps, nothing. Okay, we've got maybe that. That looks potentially it. Let's see, we'll pull the plug and see if that goes away. You're fading out? Nah. Ooh, no, I think you're just a reflection. That's got to be a reflection because I've had the power out now for quite some time and it's still glowing. Plus it's awfully strong. What are you? Yeah, you're a shiny chip. Next section. So you just got to do section by section. Nope. Alright, that there. Up top sort of middle left might have been, or is it just... No. Sort of thinking around about this area here or this area here. But again, it could be reflections. I guess we'll do the power disconnect and see if it goes away. What do you guys reckon? You reckon that went away? Let's plug it back in and see what happens. Oh, we've got no power. What? Oh, there we go. Okay, yep. That spot there came back. I know it looks noisy, but I'm pretty sure it's it. We'll take it out again. Obviously the whole lot is changing a lot. So you got that bright glob sort of to the bottom right. I'm plugging it back in now. And there, see, that one's coming back. So that there I think is what we've got to look at. And that's going to be ISL. Yes, ISL. But in saying that, the ISL itself is, there's no guarantee that it's it. However, it does fit in with the fact that we've got a damaged CD3215. And I was saying that it looks like it blew through and took out some other bits. And the ISL would be a natural next sort of stop in the destruction of pathway. So we'll do an ISL replacement. Fair enough. Give it a shot. Hey, I mean, I'm just using an old... This is an AmScope TPZ or whatever it was. Or you mean the camera? Yeah, this is just a classic AmScope. Just seeing if I can look to see if there's any defects or anything. There's a little bit of a greasy spot on that resistor, but I don't think that's actually it. You got to be careful not to start looking in too heavily on these resistors, because as a general rule, resistors have a lot of defects on them. Okay, we're just going to go through and do a diode mode check on this. Where are you? ISL. So I'm just going to go through and check these various values and see how they compare. Creature, feel free to send one. Oh, great. I actually don't really have any diode mode values on this. That sucks. How can I not have on the 1041? There should be thousands of them. I've only got 213 diode mode data points? What? That's an atrocity. Felix, I've had this camera a long time now, and it was actually a gift from one of the viewers here. So it was this camera we put to use back in the day before people were generally using infrared cameras. So this is a very early kind of model, and it's my own custom software for it. So if you can find, get a higher resolution unit or whatever, Really? 10 o'clock? Oh man, that's bad news. Bad news. We'll change this ISL and looks like we might have to call it early. And funnily enough, this camera is actually not even designed to be used like this. We're basically modding it to make it do this. Actually, no, don't do that. I want to see what's underneath. Good job, Paul. Smeared everything. Well done. Oh well. Yeah, the insulin will be done in a second. Now what we can do is we can test that PP bus value and see if we've dropped out from that 63 value. First I just need to hot air wick off this excess. I have to do it in this orientation. Okay, nicely wicked. Let's see what that PP bus is at now. Yeah, Silvio, I find a lot of the time the software is the real weak point in a lot of these cameras, which is why I want to get one that I can do my own software for. Because I feel like I can do a better job than what they provide. We're creeping up, but we're still well short on what we should be. So it would appear the ISL is not the primary fault. That sucks. So we've got what, 10 ohms up now? That's no good. So something else is at play. Alright, I'm just gonna go do the insulin and come back. By the way, thank you very much to Mr. Anderson too. Mr. Anderson just dropped $50 into PayPal for the fur kids, which is the right thing to give it to. Felix, yeah, you're talking about the anti-glare sort of thing. I think it's useful in some ways, but I actually find it more of a problem than not. The big problem is you start casting shadows on the overhead. So, like, if I want to do a better component inspection type thing, then this is what I do: is I take the board and you start looking at edge on. And then when you're doing this edge on kind of business, you get to see what's going on, like, on the actual edges, which is where often a lot of corrosion can pop up. But if you've got one of those anti-glare gooseneck setups, then when you do this, you're not going to be able to see it properly. So you've got to weigh up what you want to do and how you do your repairs. For me, I prefer this. I don't like the shadows of the gooseneck systems. Or if I am going to have a gooseneck for like backing light or ambience, then I definitely still want a ring light on top. But like I said, everybody's got their preferred setup. I don't really find the fancy termed anti-glare, whatever, etc. as really... It seems more bling bling to me. But that's just my opinion. Just seems to be a way of flogging off some cheap Chinese stuff for a hell of a lot more money. Oh, that's interesting. It's got a notch out of there. Cut through some of the layers. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. I think I might put this one to rest. I think I've given it too much already. Might be something simple, but chances are it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's just side lights. There's nothing fancy. And the polarization is basically you end up putting twice as much light onto the board and cutting half of it with your polarizer. Whereas if you just simply get light with reasonable diffusers on them, on the individual elements, rather than those clear lens focused ones, then you don't really need a polarizer anyway. So it's sometimes it's sort of like creating a problem to solve the problem that wasn't there in the first place, if you know what I mean. Maybe not, because I'm talking gibberish. Yeah, a couple of IKEA goosenecks and you're good. For me, I've got my rather intense overhead spotlights and I've got a backfill light there as well. So, yeah, find your solutions. Okay, what am I dealing with here? 2442, yeah, whatever, we'll try and tackle this one quickly. Just one thing I have found in the industry building up over the last few years is the amount of BS marketing. It's just like people finding a fancy term for something that, yeah, I don't know. It just, I look at it and I kind of go, there's nothing special there. You're just giving it a flash name or something. Someone's going to yell at me for this, I'm sure. Oh well. Come on, there you go. But marketing sells, and marketing sells very well, and it's something that I suck at. So I'm more than happy to acknowledge that I'm not a very good salesperson. I guess for me, I prefer to sort of like go, well, look, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm using. Feel free to follow along if you want. If you don't, whatever. Okay, 2442 for data recovery. I don't know what the failure mode on this is. Fortunately, being a 2442, I can actually plug it in and see what's going on in terms of the USB-C side of things without, as far as I can tell at this point, I haven't really encountered any scenarios where we're dealing with a how could you say, risk of data from NAND explosions because you plugged it in to test and see what its pattern was. My biggest problem with my setup right now is actually the camera on top of the microscope. Now the problem it has is, even though it's an IMX334 sensor and it's a genuine Sony one, the firmware in it or whatever they've done has resulted in it being quite insensitive to light. So I'm going to replace it with a 684 one or whatever it is. Same sensor size but substantially better on the receptiveness of light. And that should hopefully get me to where I want to be with my recording. Right, let's see what this does on USB-C. Yeah, I sold out all my ring light. I'm done with that. I said originally it's just for me. All I did is I made them for me and other people wanted them. So, okay, fair enough. There we go. Got some spikes and resets. Spike, reset. Okay, so we've got spikes and resets, so might be a tantrum cap. Can be a little bit tricky to tell sometimes. We'll get the board out and have a look. Nice thing is this has not been touched. Everything is pristine. Usually with these, when we get this sort of spiking behavior, it is, well, it has been to date, a blown up tantrum cap. By the way, I say tantrum cap, but I actually do mean tantalum. But tantrum just, it's more reflective of their behavior. Felix, you've got one of those non-simulfocal ones. You've got one where you've got to pull out the side. Yeah. The upside of that technique, of course, though, is you get a superior degree of light going through to your camera. The downside is that you're effectively blinded in terms of three-dimensional viewing. Okay, that's jammed in. That's not good. Because, yeah, with these trinocular ones, simulfocal, you do lose a percentage of the light. Because, yeah, obviously you can't even, you can't magically make two sources receive the same amount of light as the other. So yeah, they have their pros and cons. What I would like to see is a microscope body, head body, which actually has three primary objectives. So you have the two for your ocular, and then you have the third for the camera. I don't know if they make such a thing. Now, the sort of down issue is that you're going to have a degree of an offset between what the camera sees and what you see, simply because, you know, and that you're not going to be able to very effectively neutralize that. It's kind of like with the, where'd that screw go? It's kind of like with the infrared camera. They've got the optical camera and then they've got the infrared camera, and you have to realign them depending on your depth. But I figure if you get if you take the camera port and you have it so that it's sufficiently wide in its viewport, then you can always crop it down to whatever. Yeah, it should be fine. I mean, as it is, what the camera sees versus what I see through the microscope head, the camera sees only a very small portion of it. It's just the nature of the optics. You just don't use the camera unless you want to take. But you say you've got a in-out slot on that or something? Trinocular, but is it simulfocal? So the one I've got, it runs the camera and the binocular concurrently. Whereas the generation before it, you had to choose whether you were going to use the camera or you lose one eye. I hate these stickers. Okay, so yeah, you've got the one where it actually switches the output of the the port. So that is the earlier the different generation to the one that I've got. On the upside, as I was saying before, you actually get a superior optical quality, or image capture quality because of that. But in saying all that, the glass that what am I doing with that? The glass that Amscape uses, it's okay, but it's certainly not high-end optical glass. It's certainly better than some of the other models I've seen, but it's it's no Nikon. Hell, it's barely even Sigma, but it does the job at a reasonable price. I do wonder whether I can get myself some superior eyepieces though, and whether that will be enough to help. They at least are fairly easy to swap out. Yeah, you just pull out the old existing 10 by eyepieces and drop in the ones with better optical quality. But the really nice thing would be to change your primary optics. But in the end, it's probably just better to get a Nikon or an Olympus microscope head to start with. Yeah, when everyone's starting to buy these microscope heads, the Barlow that came with them was typically a 0.5, like for the work we were doing, and I was always like, that's just, we really want a 0.7 or a 0.66, and fortunately at the time I finally got around to buying one, they did start releasing the 0.7. It was probably always available, but people just weren't thinking to get it. Because 0.5 is just absurd to try and use for this kind of work. It's fine if you're, say, working on a ATX power supply or a PS5 or something, something that's quite large and you can afford to have further away. They've got to be okay. Yeah, 0.7. It's a good size for this sort of. It's a good middle ground for a lot of things. Gives you enough to work on some long screw damage on an iPhone 6, but also lets you back out enough. It's see. I just want to see what PP bus is. I didn't think to check that. PP bus seems fine, so whatever this is further down the road. Flip it over and have a look, see if we can spot anything. There's a blemish on the NAND, but I don't think that's anything. I might be considering it to be a speaker amp fault, because if it's not one of the tantrum caps, then the speaker amps are the ones that come up next. So let's have a quick look at those speaker amp chips. It's a piece of fluff on that one over there. Okay, that side seems okay. I must have a power cord or something misbehaving that I've wrapped around the what do you call it, compass sensor or something for my ring light, because it keeps kicking in and out and it's annoying the hell out of me. Okay, didn't see anything on the speaker one, so now I'm checking the PMIC area. You can usually tell the PMIC sort of areas. They've got this cluster of chips around. And then if you flip over, you can see it's under there somewhere. There should be another area of that, like that. There it is. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yep, that'll about do it. Uh-huh. See what we got. Interesting, it doesn't seem to be out of spec. But I would hazard to say it could well be an issue. There could be something else going on under here. That's not uncommon with this model. But I'd say we start by dislodging that sucker. I'm trying to think. It's one of those 50-50 situations for me. It's a little bit too close to the other one for me to try and prise off like I would like to, because that way then I don't involve any heat. I guess I'm just going to have to heat the damn thing up. Damn it. Didn't want to do that. Now the only thing that's concerning me here is that the resistance reading isn't pretty much entirely normal, so I don't know what's going on there. We'll get it out of here and see if behavior changes. The presence of that corrosion may mean that there could be other areas though. Come on, get off. Oh, it's so tricky. This is why I usually like to plier them off. These areas just suck up heat. I'm gonna have to really ramp it. It'd be interesting to see if the resistance has changed substantially or not, whether it's still about 800. It is coming up slightly to what it was, because it's hot right now, but it's already above what it was. Bring up the board view and schematic and have a look. What are these? Let's forget what the damn board is on this one. What are you again? Oh yeah, 2098. Of course it's the 2098. I was just working with the 2098 board file earlier. Schematics, and this is down here. We're looking at, yeah, this one here. So this is just part of gross decoupling, VDD, amp, pH. So AM phase 0. That totally tells me everything. Where are you going? Well, it's going into the CPU area, just here. So it could have had a considerable effect. I don't think I'll even bother. I'll clean that up, but I don't think I'll bother putting another one on. That thing has got so many caps on its rail that I'm sure it can live with a smidge less. Considering too, remember this is, well I didn't say it I don't think, but this is a data recovery situation only. Now I'm just going through, checking to see if there's any more corrosion spots, because like I said, I do have a little bit of concern about the fact that it wasn't actually shorted, or even close to shorted, so I'm sort of trying to weigh up how it would be that it would induce the behavior that we saw. Even if you find badly corroded caps or parts and things like that, you do want to be able to look at their function and go, well, you know, does this actually make sense relative to the fault that we're experiencing? Or is the real issue still lurking somewhere? I think we can give it a whirl. This looks better behaved, or is it? No, it's not. Ooh, interesting. She's hitting up to 20 volts and then crashing out again, so yeah, something's not quite right there. We're going for time. Shit, pushing time. Okay, we'll just see if we can see anything lighting up like a Christmas tree under the thermal. We shouldn't need to use blankets on this one because it's pretty intense. Okay, let's get this plugged in. I probably actually should focus on that area where we did take that part out. CPU's warming up, that's a concern. Means we could have a NAND situation. Okay, so this is the area where it was. I'm just going to look to see if you get a spike. I'll just try and bring in the... Here we go. Those spikes are pretty quick. I haven't seen anything jumping out, so if anybody does see something, let me know. We are getting a bit of a warm-up on this inductor, but I don't think that's part of the equation. What bothers me here is the CPU's heating up, so it means we could have NAND failure. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start peeling up. Because this isn't revealing anything yet. Okay, well, actually, maybe did I just see a bit of a warmth developing around about there? I feel like we've got a little bit of recurring warmth coming up just under about there. Yeah, there it goes. You can just see it then. Jumps up. Somewhere under here. It's because it's a big fat inductor. So I'd say what's happening there is it's just simply beginning to deliver power and then it gets shut down. It's going to peel off all the shields, see if you see anything. That inductor looks like it's kind of blown out, but I think it's just it wasn't a perfect infill to start with. And there's no debris around. Like if that had blown out, then you would expect to see debris, and there's none of that. So it just looks like it exploded from the side, but it hasn't. This is Yeah, we had such a good run last night, but looks like tonight is the complete opposite. Since I know this one is for data recovery, I can persist with this one a little longer. So with the shields off, I'm going to run it again, see if anything jumps out with the infrared. And then that's it. I'm already running way late compared to what I should. And I don't want to cause myself to, what do you call it, sunk cost fallacy in time. Okay, good. Managed to get all three areas together. I'm going to guess that most of that heat, or most of that power is going straight into the CPU. So I'm more and more thinking we've got something wrong somewhere with the NANDs or like that. Wonder if we've got another missing NAND resistor like we did a filter the other week. Nothing really is jumping out there. Not that would, yeah, like I said, I think the energy is going into the CPU it's not going into a short. So we've got the situation where the reason why it's resetting is because, like I said, it can't find an AND or something like that. Let's have a look at the little bits and pieces around here, see if anything's being knocked off, but probably unlikely. So top and bottom NAND stages here. It's a piece of dust. No, I think I'm going to call it for the night. It's getting late. I thought we had a win there with that corroded part, but it might have been a misdirection. It might be related to it, but I don't know exactly how yet. So I think that's it for tonight, folks. It's already a 11:15. I'm well and truly over. I'm 45 minutes way over my time. So thank you for watching. Dud night. It happens. Compared to last night, we got 3 for 3. Tonight, we're pretty much 0 for 3. Balanced it up, I suppose. That's the way it goes. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one, whenever that may be. Until then, you all take care. I'll see you later.